Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you're still taking your seats, take your seats. I suspect we will have people coming in through the course of the morning. So, but I did just want to welcome you all very much to the Chatham House London Conference. It is 3 years since we got together here at the St. Pancras Renaissance International, and it's just fantastic to have you all here with us again. It feels like a very long time since we were here, because it is. We are just thrilled to be able to get this London conference going again, having established it in 2014, as the real opportunity to try to take advantage of London as a superb base from which to talk about global challenges and global issues. London has always been a world center for civil society discourse on everything from climate and the energy transition, development in Africa and around the world, the future of cybersecurity, and we really felt we needed a conference where we could go big, given that Chatham House works on all of these issues thematically and regionally, but to bring people together and to have a conversation across the piece has always been the aim of this conference. And if I may say also, to be intergenerational in that pursuit, in that purpose. So I want to thank all of you for being here, because you are an intergenerational crowd, and that's the debate we need to make sure that we're having today and into the future. In fact, we have, and it's going to come up in a slide in a moment, we have 500 people registered to filter in and out of this conference over the next day and a half, 2 days, and from 80 countries, as you can see up there on the screen, represented across this time. So we're thoroughly excited to have, again, such an international group with us. This being now after the outbreak of COVID. I won't say post-COVID, because that's a hell of a risky thing to say in today's world. This is taking place hybrid, so I also want to welcome the equal number. I think we had 300 to 400 people registered to join the conference online. Welcome to all of you. Thank you very much for joining us. And the one thing I'd ask you to do if you're joining us online, put a note in the chat about where you're joining this from. So those who are joining on our Conference Plus platform can get a feel for who's in there as well. Now, Nick Gowing, who has moderated some of our early conferences here, had a great idea. He said, how do we make sure things are interactive? Well, I want to make sure everyone knows who's here. You will meet each other over coffee, but I'm going to give you now 60 seconds to introduce yourselves to whoever's sitting next to you. And just say hello. Unfortunately, some of do it. You've got 60 seconds. You don't have to shake hands. Okay, now I've got to take control. I'm taking back control. I'm taking back control. I think I'm taking back control. Right, thank you very much. And for those sitting in the front row, got the full beam of that intensity. So thank you very much for being here. And this is a reminder that, again, you're not here to ask questions. You're also here to contribute and to share your ideas and share your thoughts. And I want to make sure that you bring that energy, not just to the rooms, to the sessions we do here in the main hall, but also in all the breakout sessions, the spotlight sessions that you'll see on your agenda are going to be taking place throughout the next day and a half. And we wouldn't be able to bring you all back together and to bring in people from around the world to participate in this conference if it wasn't for our sponsors. And everything that Chatham House does is thankfully supported by a very diverse range of supporters. So I want to thank this year Luminate, MSD, the Open Society Foundations, UPS, and Diageo. Thank you very much indeed for your support for this conference. Each of you have enabled us to bring this group together and make the most of this event. What we're trying to do this year we would have had a centenary London conference back in 2020. Obviously, that didn't happen. We've kept that idea here. We did use that time to think about the kind of world that Chatham House wants to work towards. What can we help build? And part of the thinking on this is to help communities as well as countries deliver sustainable and equitable growth, peaceful and thriving societies, and accountable and inclusive governance. Those three kind of pillars of what we think will be a better world in the future. We're fully aware that right now, making progress towards those goals has become increasingly difficult. As you saw, the theme of the conference this year is a divided world. We'll be talking about that in one of the opening panels in a minute. And when we asked you, as you signed up here, to come to this conference, to say what's on your mind, we got some very interesting results, and hopefully those are going to come up on the screen now. On the what's on your mind question, we did the kind of classic word cloud, and as you can see in your front sense here, from all of your responses, we've got quite obviously Ukraine sitting very largely there in the middle. And let me add, this was an international poll. This is not just a Eurocentric poll in that sense. I would note that the word Russia is rather small off to one side. Now, that may partly be a reflection of the way, in fact, that Ukraine has really grabbed the public space through its social media, through its public diplomacy and engagement. Maybe it's in particular to communities that come to the London conference, but it's definitely there. But equally, sitting above it, you can see the cluster of themes that have been so important to Chatham House and are important for today, the long-term and inescapable challenges of climate change, sustainable growth, food security, energy transition, all of those issues which we'll be tackling actually in a minute in the next session. And I was struck as well by the cluster that you can see there around democracy, governance, disinformation, the rise of authoritarian governments, also part of the issues we'll be discussing here. And I would expect to see, as you can there, global health, pandemic preparedness on the bottom left-hand corner. We'll be launching a commission here with one of our presidents, Helen Clark, on precisely that topic. And of course, you know, big tech is also there in the mix. I noticed that China is very small. I'm trying to look because I had a different show. In any case, well, I'm struggling to find it. But China, which has been such a big topic for Chatham House and for the world, again, didn't get a big call in the What's on Your Mind questionnaire that we put through to you here. And the future of multilateral institutions, the same. Thank you. It is that small, actually. China, yeah, just to the bottom left of Ukraine, I'm now seeing on the screen there. So I don't know what that means. It's what you said. Hopefully you will explain that a little bit when we come to the debate here. And in that top right-hand corner, you've got the issue of female leadership, at least on the one that I've got. There was top left-hand corner there. The word cloud moves around on the different screens. But I'll be interviewing Maya Sandu, the president of Moldova, in a minute. And she's a reminder of the kind of new type of female leadership that we're seeing around the world. And I hope we have an opportunity to discuss whether that's making a difference in the future or not. This led then to a whole set of key questions, which can also come up here. I'm not going to go through them all in the screen. These are the kind of questions that you came to this conference wanting to explore. We'll be doing this in the in-conversation sessions, the panels, spotlights. But I wanted to also let you know that we have a Shaping the Future space that we've created here in St. Pancras, not in this room, but in a separate room, which my colleagues here, all wearing the blue lanyards, the blue straps. If you see anyone with the blue lanyards, they'll tell you exactly where these Shaping the Future spaces are. And what we'll be having there is going to be 5 interactive simulations taking place over the course of the next day and a half. You can sign up to those and participate in them if you wish. And importantly, you can host 4 discussions yourselves. We've got the room set. Whoever wants, go up to the registration desk, says, I want to run a session of what's on my mind, the way I think I want to shape the future. You'll have to try and get a little bit of crew of people to come with you and be part of that discussion, but there's a room set up for that, and we will update the screens that are out in the coffee area so that you know what's taking place at what time. So you can participate in all the sessions taking place in this room and the other rooms. You can also do some interactive simulations. You can also set up your own conversation. Only 4 slots for those ones, so sign up as quickly as you can. And then the last point I wanted to make, we have the SNF Collab innovation here funded by the SNF Foundation. And what they created with Rose Abdullahzadeh, our colleague who sadly, but after 10 years at Chatham House, felt it was time to move on. But she created a thing called a Futurescape Exhibition, what London could look like in 100 years' time. And I see exactly, we've got Bernice here, who's also part of that idea, Bernice of the London Futurescape. And it takes a lot of the ideas of the energy transition in the future, and you can see it in a kind of 3D presentation. Again, my colleagues will show you where that is. Last thing, this is a social media era. If you want to join in the conversation via social media, via Twitter, it's #CHLondon. It's at @CH_events if you want to make sure that you're engaging in that conversation. We are on the record. Chatham House does have the Chatham House rule. But when you have big conversations, we want to make sure as many people are as engaged as possible. So this conference is on the record. Still speak freely, I hope. I'm looking at the front row. But speak as freely as you want and can, but we really want to get the ideas out there. I'm not wearing a watch. I may have gone over time. Hopefully I've not, and I'm setting a reasonably good example. To my chairman, Nigel Scheinwald. Nigel, thank you very much for doing double duty here by stepping up and also chairing the opening session. We're thrilled, Kwasi, to have you, Kwasi Kwarteng. Fantastic to be here, but I'll let Nigel do the introductions. All I'll say, have a great conference the next day and a half. Thanks for being here in the room. Thanks for being with us, joining us online as well. Make the most of this conference. Thank you very much.